The NCAA Tournament is officially here, and your Texas Tech Red Raiders are the 3 seed out west and will face off against the UNC Wilmington Seahawks. In today's video, we'll preview the matchup, discuss the players you need to know from UNC Wilmington, look at the odds, and I'll give my prediction. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast, and if you are a frequent viewer or listener of this podcast, you know what question I'm about to ask you. You tell me. What's your score prediction for 3 seed Texas Tech versus 14 seed UNC Wilmington out in Wichita, Kansas, set for Thursday night? And when I say night, I really mean it, people. Get your caffeine ready. A projected 9:10 tip-off Central Time. Be well caffeinated. Be well caffeinated. But also, let me know your score prediction down on the pinned comment below for your Red Raiders against the Seahawks of UNC Wilmington up in Wichita. All right, we'll jump right into this and look at, well, the last 5 games for UNC Wilmington, a team that you look at it, won the Coastal Athletic Association's tournament to get the automatic qualifier. They are the 14 seed out west. You can see on your screen, I was not lying, 9:10 Central tip-off for Thursday on truTV. ESPN gives the Red Raiders a 92.3% chance to win. We'll talk about some of the players you need to know for UNC Wilmington, but 2 of them are on your screen right there, and Newbie and Moore. Those guys are absolutely stars for them and really make their offense go in a lot of ways. You know, if you're a Red Raider, JT Toppin, Big 12 Player of the Year, arguably, at worst, the 3rd best big in all of college basketball this year. He is the straw that stirs the Texas Tech drink, if you will, offensively. Elijah Hawkins, one of the best assist men in the country. He leads the Big 12 in 6.3 assists per game. Texas Tech, in their last 5 games, have won 4. UNC Wilmington, in their last 5, have won all 5. Now, I did want to look at a little blurb that ESPN had because let's face it, right? Like, as Texas Tech fans, we are not watching UNC Wilmington, the Seahawks, quite a bit, right? Like, we're just not. So I thought this was a good little blurb from ESPN discussing every team in the tournament. So ceiling, round of 32. So potentially upsetting the Red Raiders, but they have a good young head coach. He has won a lot of games there, right? Out in UNC Wilmington, and they are a top 60 offense over the last really 2.5 months. They're 15-2 during that stretch, according to Bart Torvik. That's where the top 60 offense comes in. Their berth in the NCAA tournament is a major achievement for guard Davon Newby, who's averaging nearly 15 points per game. But their coach is going to be a hot commodity. So the Seahawks are definitely going to want to come out and definitely play hard for him. So it's not the last possible time they play for their head man. Now, when I look at the stats, I should say, there's a few that stand out. Obviously, this is a ton of information here. I'm not expecting everyone to look at it and be like, oh, I know what that means right away. I'm just going to hit the high-level points that I think Texas Tech fans should know for UNC Wilmington playing them. So this is where we'll start. Obviously, again, winners of the Coastal Athletic Association, the CAA. They are 77th in the country in points per game, just under 77. They are 96th in the country in terms of opponent points per game at 70 even. They shoot 33% from 3, which is 212th in the country. They just don't shoot threes very well at all. But they also allow teams to shoot threes at a very high rate. They are 214th when it comes to opposition three-point percentage. And you don't want to have a high number. You want to have a low number there. But the Seahawks allow teams to shoot nearly 34.5% from 3 on 24.5 three-point opportunities per game. That is their biggest weakness. And I think it's one of the biggest aspects of this game because when you think about Texas Tech, and a lot of people haven't liked it, I've been on the train that, hey, like, this is the way they win. Let's go for it. Texas Tech likes to shoot threes. Grant McCasland has said numerous times this season he wants to see his team shoot 25-plus threes per game. Well, if you go by the percentages here in terms of 34.5 and everything like that, Texas Tech is going to make damn near 10-plus threes per game. How does that impact this game from a UNC Wilmington standpoint? Next, One of the things that they do really well is rebound, specifically offensive rebounding. They're 46th in the country in terms of offensive rebounding. And let me go down here a little bit so y'all can see this on your screen as well. They're 46th in offensive rebounds per game in the country, 10.5. They're 114th in opposition offensive rebounds per game, 8.2. They are a really good team rebounding team. They have a legit 7-footer that's going to be down there. He gets pushed out and is not great in the pick and roll. The interesting aspect of things for UNC Wilmington is they've got a couple of guys that can beat you, but the aspect overall is like they're versatile offensively. They struggle off the bounce a little bit. But overall, like Newby is the guy that makes things go for them. Devon Newby, he is their lead guard, averages about 15 points per game, as I mentioned just a little while ago. But the thing is, from their offensive standpoint, they are hyper aggressive and they want to get to the line, right? That's what they want to do. And from an offensive perspective for Texas Tech, you can pull them out, right? Specifically, they're big out in the pick and roll, and that's where things can get really, really, I don't want to say easy for Texas Tech, but easier, right, in that aspect of it. That's not to say that the Seahawks don't have some really solid wings on the outside, but once you pull their big away, that opens things up, and they switch quite a bit in the pick and roll from the tape that I've seen, and that could be a really, really big factor for a guy like Elijah Hawkins and then JT Toppin or even D5 in the pick and roll, and we'll discuss his injury status here in just a little bit. I will say the bigs that they have really do have good touch and good hands, right? I don't think this is a DJ Burns situation. They have a legit 7-footer, but that's the only guy on their roster listed above 6'9". So they have good touch, do their bigs. They struggle off the bounce, and when they get double teamed from the limited film that I've seen, they struggle a little bit in terms of passing out of the double, unlike JT Toppin. And also, again, UNC Wilmington, they do not shoot the three very well in terms of if they do get the ball out of the double and find the open man, they shoot 33% as a team from distance. Okay, where do they rank on KenPom? You can see it right there. They're 105. They're 84th nationally offensively, and they have the 184th defense according to KenPom's ratings. And if you go look at it, we'll scroll all the way back up to where Texas Tech is. Texas Tech is 6th offensively, 37th defensively are the Red Raiders. Now, I want to go look at Bart Torvik as well because he has the odds in terms of his projections and everything. So we're going to look at that real quick. He says 15.5. Now, in terms of the odds, you can go check them out over on BetUS TV. They have 16 points for the Red Raiders in this one. Bart Torvik gives the Red Raiders a 92% chance to win this game with an implied score prediction of 80-65. To me, in this game, it's going to come down to this. First and foremost, if Chance and D5 play. Okay, and right now, according to Grant McCaslin, that is the understanding and expectation. In fact, his quote was, "Our hope is we get both back, and that is the expectation." To what level he did preface it, that's TBD. But I fully expect both Chance McMillan and Darion Williams, D5, to play in this game. I would expect D5 to play more than Chance, but that's just me speculating at this point. Overall, the biggest thing for Texas Tech in this game is if they make threes. UNC Wilmington struggles to guard the three-point line. They're obviously going to make it a point of emphasis playing the Red Raiders, but even then still, UNC Wilmington has not played a team that has 5, maybe even 6 guys that can shoot plus 35% from three. They just haven't. And the spacing and how quick Texas Tech can play, get out in transition, they can beat you in the half court. I think UNC Wilmington will keep it close for really about the first 10 minutes of this one before Texas Tech has a barrage of threes, and that's where they pull away. I actually really like this UNC Wilmington team. It was one of the matchups where I wasn't too fond of it for the Red Raiders, but it wasn't the most like, oh my God, I don't want to play them per se, because you're going to have to play somebody that's a 14 seed, right? If you're a 3, that's just how the thing works. But they come from a very good basketball program over the past half decade. They have a raucous fan base. But overall, I think at the end of the day, the Red Raiders are going to be far too much for the Seahawks. And my score prediction in this one is Texas Tech 84, UNC Wilmington 66. I think at the end of the day, you are going to see JT Toppin be absolutely special. And it feels like this is a game where the world finds out late at night that Christian Anderson is one of the best true freshmen in all of college basketball. All right, let me know your score prediction down below for 3-seed Texas Tech versus 14-seed UNC Wilmington in the first round of the NCAA Tournament, scheduled for Thursday, March 20th at 9:10 p.m. Tip-off there in Wichita. You can watch it on truTV. I will tell you right now, I would be absolutely shocked if that game actually tips off at 9:10. It feels like this game is not going to tip off until about 9:45. So, again, get your caffeine ready. Be ready, Red Raiders. It's going to be a fun one. But, again, my score prediction is 84-66. Let me know yours down on the pinned comment below. And if you haven't already, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell to join the largest group of Texas Tech fans here on YouTube for 100% free Texas Tech content all year long. We're going to be having videos for you throughout March and even when the portal starts after the season, hopefully after when the Red Raiders cut down the nets down in San Antonio. If that's something you're interested in, again, follow those 3 steps. Like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. I'm RC Maxfield for the Back to 12 podcast. As always, y'all, stay safe and Rec 'em Tech.